COVID-19 and mounting racial injustices around the country have opened up more wounds for our friends in the Black community. An important educational seminar is coming up to address racial trauma. Priscilla Patterson is Academic Outreach Coordinator for Southwest Indiana Area Health Education Center. She is with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am very good and so anxious to share the story of this training that's coming up. Can you, first of all, talk about racial trauma? Give us some working definitions.
So what racial trauma deals with, and again, I definitely want to say that don't assume that I'm an expert in this area, but it is a discussion that I have to stay well informed and educated about, because our role at Southwest Indiana is to help the medically underserved in rural areas. And as a result of that, I need to stay abreast of things that are affecting the Black community and those that are in the medically underserved area. And many times what we're seeing in those areas is that there's there's injustices across the board, whether it be with housing or health care. There's an array of things that the Black community might be experiencing. And because of the inequalities that are in those areas, it also can create trauma for families and their children within those areas.
Well, we can all understand why, and trying to understand more deeply all the ways that this sort of the domino effect of things that happen, including the virus, and how it impacts people's availability to resources or resources available to them. So let's talk about the speaker who will be addressing this issue and who is invited to come and learn.
Now, it will be Dr. Holcomb from Florida State University, and either on our website or yours, you will be able to see a summary about trauma and in the Black community and racism. And it's open to anyone. But one of the things that I want to encourage is our clinicians, those that are working in the medical field or the health profession field, those that have clients in these professional healthcare industries. They need to be they can go to this online seminar to understand how sometimes our biases can play a part in a person's treatment, how our biases can potentially cause someone not to want to seek mental health services, medical care, because of historically in the profession, health professionals or behavioral health specialists, historically, there may have been these biases that Blacks won't eat right. Blacks won't work out. Blacks won't do this. Blacks don't take care of their children, and that's not true. And a lot of people are resistant to go seek out certain care because they believe that once they walk into that practice or into that office, they're already going to have strikes against them.
Well, we hear so much conversation, which is a good thing, about implicit bias, systemic racism, and this is really what you're addressing here as part of that it's woven into the system. So how do we break that barrier and that boundaries? We will learn some of those things in this seminar?
Yes, we will. And in addition to that, she is going to talk to clinicians of how to approach their patients, giving advice, but also locally things that I do that I educate future healthcare professionals on, and it might be on your site as well, is that I teach this professionalism in healthcare, and we talk about ethics. We talk about sometimes individuals, and I show examples of, in a cultural awareness class that I'll teach to students, how someone that might have a language barrier, our facial expressions showing that you're indignant, you're disgusted because you can't understand them, how that then can cause resistance, and how a person can also not want to come back for treatment simply because of our facial expressions, and that we might try to act as if their language is wrong. And that's not the case. Many times is if we're having a language barrier, we then need to go get an assistant that can help with the possible translation or that can help with some communication issues.
So important. Christina, I could just talk to you about this so much more. Great opportunity to learn more. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of the week.
You too. We'll be back with more local lifestyles after this message. Please stay with us.